Okay. Good
I am
evening.
okay.
Okay, welcome. Good evening, everyone who has tuned into the Kajiado We Want CBO. We are glad that you've all joined. My name is Evelyn Masharia, the organizing secretary of the CBO. We are delighted to uh, welcome each and everyone. We have a very exciting topic about the secret is in gifting and not a job. I know it raises a lot of question. What is it all about? But let's wait for our speaker to let us know about the topic. Before we continue, I'd like to invite David to tell us what the Kajiado We Want is all about. David is our chairman.
Uh, Thank you very much, Tim. This is David, and I want to take just a minute to reintroduce the Kajiado We Want CBO. It's a community-based and development organization that primarily deals with community issues in the several 8 areas as follows. Number one, infrastructure. Number two, water and sanitation. Number three, environment. Number four, job creation, trade and industry. Number five, advocacy for the vulnerable. Number seven, health and wellness. Number eight, security and community policing. And basically, the areas that we deal with, we've been doing matters to do with the environment. And today we had a team at KICC just preparing for the World Environmental Day. We also had other representations in Kajiado at the managers for the municipality's office as they prepare to mark the World Environment Day. But today we have an interesting topic, which is all about works of charity and why the works of charity are important for you as an individual. So, welcome, sit back and listen to our guest speaker, and back to the moderator to introduce our guest.
Okay. Uh, s- just to point out on the KICC, today we went for the Pre-World Environmental Day, which was celebrated at the KICC. It was a very insightful day, and some of the things that we picked up were about collective responsibility. Whatever we are doing, when we throw that trash, that when we litter, we should be responsible. We should not let it be it's somebody's duty. Also, we need to force regulations so that people can adhere to a clean environment. And most of all, is about the change culture. We need to stop, we need to change and also offering incentives. I think some of the things will be pointed out by Isaac, who is our guest speaker tonight. Let me just do a brief intro about Isaac Masharia Mwangi. He has a very rich bio, but I think I'll just mention a few, then the rest he's going to to do a more intro about himself. Isaac is a biomedical engineer, and he's worked closely 15 years doing charitable work. He's a tour guide and a social entrepreneur. And uh, one other thing that he has gained this year, he was the winner of the 40 under 40, which he got it in 2023 March. You're most welcome, Isaac, to tell us all about the secret is in gifting and not a job. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me and for this opportunity to speak to your audience. Thank you for the interest in having me on your airspace. Media is very important to reaching out to people. If you can hear me very clearly, I wish to continue because I know we are a little bit behind schedule. Just say something, shake something, and let me know that I'm all good to continue.
Yes, we can hear you. Please go on.
All right. Well, yeah, like you have said, an interesting topic to talk about. The secret is in gifting and not job. Well, this is something that I've been trying to talk to the young people about over the years. Of course, living by it myself, in that I I am usually very interested in what the young people have to say about the modern way of life. Globalization, stemming back from when we had kingdoms and the loss of sovereignty. We no longer have sovereignty ourselves, in that whatever happens in a big nation, it affects us. So the saying is they cough and we shiver. So it's because we've been caught up in a trap. We are in a trap that um, is a dosage for us not to access our area of gifting. Now, education and all of that, knowledge is power. Getting to know a lot helps so many people, but at the end of the day, if all of that is not consolidated, where it is helping you to capture your gift in life and the reason to why you were born, then we are at loss. If I don't discover my gift and feed it to you and feed it to the world, I am stealing from humanity. And so many people have been caught up in a system that wherever I go, I try to undo it. And it's very deliberate. I started a charity some years back in 2010 um, that addresses social justices, that has given birth to running a tour company that is a responsible travel, that it has also birthed yet another company, social responsible company that is an eco camp in Masai Mara. All of these I did because I found people are not willing to give to charity or have a justified way of giving. People want to be known that they gave. People want to be put in limelight. Now, we cannot say that we are affecting humanity when how we do things really steps on
Sorry,
people.
sorry to disturb you. You mind to tilt your camera? You're using your phone.
No, I'm on my tablet. Is it not
Okay.
clear?
Uh, it's okay then, yeah. Just try to tilt it.
Towards myself? Is that okay?
No, like
Landscape. Are you able to do
yeah.
landscape instead of portrait? Although not a big deal
Yeah,
anyway.
I can definitely give it a shot.
But it's not a big deal. If it was a phone, it would have been easier. I think we just continue.
Yeah, I would not know. I have not used this app before. Sorry.
Yes.
It's fine. Just go ahead.
You're very
All
clear.
right.
It's only that it's portrait. You are very clear.
All right. I see what you mean. All right. Can we continue like that?
Yeah. Yeah, just
All right.
continue.
Right. So we've been caught up in an area where we have put a lot of pressure on the young people to perform, and having known, I've studied my life myself from where I'm coming from parents that were oppressed by the colonial era, and then they passed on the education the way they did, having a lot of traumas have been not dealt with them, and then pass it onto us, then we refine it even more, and then we are the generation that is passing it on to the next generation. So that, having said that, we have been put in a system that is not ours. We have been taught, let's go to school, get good grades, get a good job, have money in our pockets, and then life is good. But that is not the end of it. If we do not find our area of gifting, then the society is in trouble. We also have a loss of identity when it comes to the young people, especially the males. I am really called to be talking to the males because I am sure if we can fix a lot to do with the male issues in the society, we can be able to sort a lot of the issues that we see out there. We are not meant to be, Africa is the richest continent, as far as I'm concerned. Somebody needs us to remain ignorant so that they can keep benefiting from us. And democracy as it is, the gap between the rich and the poor will always thrive as long as people don't have knowledge and as long as there is poverty. So until we are able to address these social justices, then we are able to talk about this gifting, this reason unto why we exist, the reason why you were born. And until people are able to chase that, then they will keep chasing issues, they will keep chasing a lot of things that are not beneficial. I have my introduction that was done very well by Evelyn is that I did study biomedical engineering. I was able to work a little bit in Kenyatta, and then I stumbled on my actual calling, that is reaching out to people. If you like, I am the person that likes talking to you about discovering your area of gifting. I was called into this area of giving back by accident, I would say. It was a fallback. Little did I know that there was no turning back. And what I've done so far, I will not trade it back. The young people and what we heavily invested in is in areas where a bit of understanding exists. Now, there's a way to go about this whenever we are reaching out to people. I cannot come to Kajiado. Heavily, we are investing a lot of resources in the Maasai area, especially in Maasai Mara, and there's a way around that. There's a way around how you help people. I cannot just come to any area and decide that I will help you because I think you need help. It doesn't work that way. You have to use a system I have been testing for quite some time now just to authenticate it. When you go to an area and you need to help people, the first thing you need to do is learn from them. You need to sit down and listen to the people, however, their ways of life, the areas of need, and actually what they want. And then from that perspective, having understood that, then you gain a bit of trust to unteach them. There's so many things that need to be unwound, like the way of life, the culture, some of these things you need to unteach them. So then you can apply whatever knowledge you have to teach them. Now, teaching culture will not be done by a cane, will not be done by a bullet, it will be done by another culture. That is what I am trying to introduce, that you will not get to find your area of gifting if you are in the same culture, mentally speaking, that hinders you from accessing that area of your gifting. Now, so many people ask me, okay, do I quit my job and go towards what I want to do in life? Absolutely not. You need to understand, if you're an employee that is employed from 8 to 5, we cannot play around with our lives. You cannot play around with our families and say blindly that I'm going to quit my job and wait for my area of gifting to start working for me. Now, from 8 to 5, you are employed. But after that, your employer doesn't want anything to do with you. So I call it deployment. From that time, you are deployed. And that's the time that you should be letting your hands get in touch into what you are supposed to do. So many people tell me that, you know, my job is killing me. And literally that is what is happening, because we are not meant to come into life, live life, make money, and die. We are supposed to fulfill a certain purpose that is specially in us. That special gifting that I'm talking about, it cannot be taught, it cannot be bought, nobody can present it to you, it is discovered. And that is why people need to pay attention. The young people, the Kajiado we want, if we can speak about the Kajiado we want, whether it is in modern towns, whether it is in the rural areas, the Kajiado that you want is one that is progressing. It's one that is fruitful. It's where young people are actually productive. And it will only happen when we help them discover their gift and equip them with what is necessary for that. We cannot just leave it as just discover your gift and all is good. There's way to that. The system that we have that is in play is where we keep talking, and the government keeps talking about job creation. And I wish somebody out there would be talking about gift discovering and equipping us to discover our gifts, because that is what the young people will need. That is what will drive the economy at the end of the day. We have so many engineers and doctors and gifted people out there that need that to come out of them. And that is what will create these job opportunities. Having said that, I love working with young people. I love working with fresh people, but I always tell them, at your age, I'm only giving you 5 years to work for me. After 5 years, you have to pay attention, because I'll take you through what I have gone through so that you don't have to go through it, so that you can get to discover your gift. My belief system tells me, if you're a person there that has never discovered their gift, you ought to look for somebody that has, and you ought to faithfully and fruitfully work for this person. You need to be in the guidance of that person. It is a model that has just worked for not so many people, because we have been brainwashed that seeking money is the purpose to life. It is not. Somebody else will end up spending your money after you're gone. Somebody else will live in your house. Somebody else will drive your house. So the whole idea of owning things makes people to dig their gifts into the ground. And in the end, that's what eats everybody up. When you discover your gift, you live happier, you live better, you live longer, and you help so many other people. Now, the scary thing that I always tell people that listen to me is that your gift, once fully grown into what we call your purpose, is not for you. It is for humanity. You cannot feed from your own fruits. Other people feed from that. It is just that you are solving a problem in society, and that is the reason why you were brought into that society. Now, looking at all the problems that we have as a nation, all of those, I look at them as opportunities. Otherwise, I tell people, listen, another way of finding out about your gift is it thrives in crisis. So what happens is that we undergo crises and we drown in them, or we cause even more issues. Now, we are supposed to discover our gifts in crisis. We are supposed to be eagles. We are supposed to be people that, the eagle for me is one important animal when I'm guiding. Whenever I see it, I want to follow it for a little bit, and an opportunity to teach, because eagles look at storms and they go towards the storm, because that's the opportunity for them to refresh in themselves. They're able to lock their bones and just stay in the storm, and the storm will clean their feathers, they master their flying, and all of that. So we are supposed to look at situations and not run from them, and actually face them, and you'll be surprised just how much you'll discover about yourself. That little thing that you're discovering about yourself is what helped me do in my charity work. I made a lot of mistakes. And I'm just looking at some areas of need that you have captured as a CBO that are very key important areas. And they are, most of the areas that you have captured are areas that we cover as a charity, and also as a social enterprise in terms of tourism, and also as uh, an accommodation, an eco accommodation in Masai Mara. We use all of these to keep building our capacity towards bringing social justices. And we are very careful because we have to make sure that we are reaching out to people and respecting the dignity. Just because they are poor doesn't make them less of a human. It's like me and you. They're just like anybody else there. They probably have not been empowered the way they should be empowered. And when we look at the areas of need, we have 5 areas that we use to reach out to people. We use the first and foremost, and you've captured it in your areas of doing work. If you send me to Kajiado in the remote areas and tell me we've actually empowered a school there some years back, but if I were to be sent there again, I would use the formulas that I have today. And the first formula that we have when it comes to helping people and empowering people, you have to understand about their water security. We underestimated this in so many areas of our work. Just to come back to the drawing board and understanding, the centerpiece is water. And if you don't address water, then you keep having these drawbacks. And it took me quite some years to really look into it and understand, why do we keep going 5 steps ahead and 3 steps back? And just to realize that our society, the infrastructure that comes with water just frees so many people. And this especially comes in as Africans when, and I know so many people want to aid Africa, and there's a lot of talk about women empowerment and girl empowerment. And when you look at the whole science behind it, it's because the culture has given a lot of responsibility to our women that they are not set free, thinking that they are second-hand humans. And so when I look at a setting like the rural areas of Masai Mara, the moment we provided clean water to a community of to be accessed by a community of 7,000 people, I realized most of the girls were set free. They were let go to school because it was their role to go into the rivers and the streams and the catchment areas and bring water. And the kind of a research we did, and what we saw that women had to go through, because their streams are again contaminated by businesses that have come in, set up hotels, then it really put them on in an area of bondage. To clean that water requires firewood. Would go distances to look for firewood and to look for how to clean this water through boiling so that they can be able to consume it. And once we started providing water into that one village, the medical needs, whenever we run medical camps, really reduced, because water remains to be the centerpiece of everything. We built a school out in Masai Mara, and when the drought hit, we lost 70% of the children, both male and female. It's the work of the boys to go doing herding. It's the work of the girls to go fetching water and taking care of all of these domestic needs. And it really broke our heart after investing millions of shillings into a project. it really did break our hearts. It's because we didn't do our homework well. And so for any project to be successful, whether it's in an urban town, whether it's in a rural area, the first issue to ever address is water. It gives people the justice they need. And if that justice is not addressed as the number one priority, then we put people in bondage. What we did by providing water in an area is we simply created time for people. And they were able to now use that time to go to school. They were able to use that time to do other activities that are all geared towards the focus in life. And we knew that that is what we needed to create. Now, what we're doing with the youths around in areas that we affect is now telling them, now that you have all this time, you need to come. Let's have what we call storytelling. Now, you need to understand that the number two priority for us, which is education, is that Africans are afraid of education because of the oppression that our parents had to go through, and then in turn, what they have transferred to us. And what I'm calling traumas. So we are not able to be brought up in this new world whereby in the traditional setting, they used to look at us and give us jobs according to our ability, according to our talents. That has been shut down. That you just need to go to the city, find a job, somebody to hire you. And that is why there is a lot of idleness in big cities, and there's a lot of drug abuse. There's a lot of issues here and there that come with urbanization. Now, if all of these young people can come to the city and find mentors and find people that are willing to give forth their gift because they've discovered it, or to volunteer, and another great way of people to discover their area of gifts. And it goes out to all the people that are employed. If you want to discover your gift and you're in employment, you need to volunteer. You need to give your time. You need to go out there and see what your inner self is drawn to when you're assisting humans, not for the sake of putting it on your social media somewhere, but for the sake of genuinely helping somebody from point A to point B because you're able to. Immediately you start discovering something about yourself. And so Africans are scared of education. It is really hard to get people to go through education. I remember growing up having a very harsh ordeal when it came to education, and the caning and the beating, and you fail, you're a loser, and all of this stigmatization that came with this thing called education. It's a power tool, but education is not the key to life. Somebody came and lied to us and told us that education is the key to life. No, it's a principle, or it is one of the keys that is gearing you towards the key to life, because the key to life is your gift. People don't like you as a person. They like you because of your gift. Ever since I discovered my gifting, and with the awards that I've won in the past, including the very recent one that is the 40 Under 40 Africa 2023, I have had people come to me seeking advice on how to do things in their areas of need. But it's not because they like me. And I understand. I don't need to be liked. They like my gifting. It is my gift that they're after. And the worst that I can do is not offer it to them. And young people are confused in our modern times about self-discovery. I can tell you numerous times I have hired young people. I have hired young people, and all they've done is let me down across the board. The really poor ones, the able ones, the religious ones, the church-going ones, all of them, the traditional ones, most of them have come and they have failed because they've not understood the principles of working for somebody faithfully and fruitfully. It happens across the board. It happens in offices. That is why parastatals, if you want to have a hard time, go to one of the government parastatals and try and get some services. You meet a bunch of empty people that have a drug that they take every month called payslip, called employment. Then they're comfortable with that. Nobody is really wanting to go and discover who they are. And if people can just deploy themselves, then we spread good and quality education. We spread good and quality African storytelling that we have lost with time. Our number 3 area of reaching out is women empowerment. Now, a bunch of women are just seated there because identity was lost during our colonial time. And we are in a position where the old setting, and I saw this a little bit growing up, and even now it's a bit pronounced in some areas, all the work was for the man. The man was to go, make the money, make the kill, bring it home, feed your family, take care of your family needs, and your wife would take care of your needs, and boom, life goes on. But now we are caught up in a globalization after the world wars, where now women are working, women are stable. And I like it myself because it is good to have a partner that is able to help and is able to have the knowledge of what's going on around. And so we are caught up in a trance where the men are confused because now we have women that are empowered. They have jobs, they have a house, they have all of these things. And they don't need the security that was offered in the traditional setting. So then how do we as men now get into the lives of these women that are already having jobs? That's why I'm saying it's not the job, because now we are in trouble. We are in trouble. But I call it good trouble when I see women empowered, because that means the society can grow well, can grow equally with equal responsibility. We ought to understand our place as men in the society when it comes to empowered women. It is intimidating for so many. I'm seeing the questions coming in. And I believe when a woman is empowered, the whole village is empowered. If I can just sum it up as that. When women are empowered, we are all empowered. And so we need to continue giving and mentoring so that all of these idle people can understand they need direction, and that lacks in our society. Our number 4 area of need is health, and we focus on mental health, which I don't need to get into it a lot. It is becoming very pronounced in our society. Then the last one is entrepreneurship. That means we want to leave a place that we are engaging, having known what they can do with their resources, with what they have, so that they can attract people with what they do. And it's very important when we leave people with some sort of an economy taking place. I'm seeing a question here that I would want to answer. What it took to win the top 40 under 40 2023. First of all, the Africa 40 under 40 is a platform across Africa that recognizes all entrepreneurs in different categories. To be precise, 40 categories. We are hoping that they will increase because the next one, note this, will be held in Kenya in 2024. So we are working tirelessly to see it come to Kenya and to see all these young people across Africa coming to participate in that. So what happens with this nomination is that if you are under 40, if you are 40 or 40 and under, you get to be nominated by somebody in your different areas. And mine just happened to be in the social enterprise. And somebody nominated me. I didn't even know about it until an email popped that you have been shortlisted. Now, shortlisting is they take a few in your category, can be up to 15 people. that are in your particular category. Our category had the second most contested members after governance and environment. And you were just called to the event. You have to justify yourself. You have to prove that what you're doing is, you are the director, or you are a co-director, or you pre-own it, or own the whole thing, or you've started it. You have to show your how long you've been doing it, and you are put in a basket with so many other Africans. Now, Africa has thinkers. Until I stepped foot in South Africa in the just concluded competition, I met Africans that actually think, and we have thinkers. It's just that our government and everything else has been caught into a system that somebody created so that we don't discover the power that we have. And that power is the same thing I keep talking about. It's in our gifting. And so it was an intense competition for you to hear your name being called out as the one that has actually won. I have to say, out of all the people that we competed with, I was not the best, but it's how we execute our social enterprise that took us to the top. The whole system that I'm telling you, it's all about the people. Your gift is all about the people. It's all about the people. It's not in money. It's not in the animals. It's in the people. If we want to leave a place running well, it is with the people. That is what we focus on. We focus on the people. It's the people that we need to empower so that we can empower all of these other things. And I have to be careful and say again, we do not dominate over people. We empower people. We dominate over nature, we dominate over animals, we dominate over all of these other things, and not a single human being. Human beings are meant to be empowered, to dominate. That way, we can plan around our resources and whatever is available around us, and that's where our riches are. So I would say, in a nutshell, now that I'm part of the organizing committee that is organizing for the Africa 40 under 40 to come to Kenya, and to see all of Africa coming to Kenya to have the winners shortlisted. I have to say, I'm just organizing. I will not be in the panel choosing who wins. We are just organizing for the whole thing to come. So all of the Kajiado young people, they need to start listening to this. You need to start starting these businesses. It puts you in a platform where all of Africa is watching you. People start following you. You start getting emails from all over the world, people trying to understand the solution that you're offering. How can it be put into place in other places? So that is 40 under 40 in a nutshell. And there are other platforms for people to be able to showcase what they're doing. The only thing that people are afraid of is starting, getting out there, starting to do it. Now, there is no one mentor or one person that has discovered where they're supposed to be in life or what they're supposed to be doing in life that you would approach and they actually say no. They would not shut you down. People who know what they're doing, that's why I love the word CBO. I love what the Kajiado we want is a CBO. You are dominating a certain area. So that means you understand the problems of the area, the MCA for that area, the MP, all of these leaders that have been put into place. They're supposed to be looking for people like you because you understand the problem. Because they don't really understand the problem from a root level. They need to come to you to understand how to bring these issues up. And I do hope that some of these offices do engage people like yourself, because you hold solutions that they will never, ever really get to. They're in their top offices. They need to come to where you are and seek guidance. And that is what we call leadership. And until they grab that sort of leadership, we are still caught up in a trance. We're still caught up in a very difficult situation, and I call it the post-colonial mentality, which needs to change. Unless our people change the way they think, they will never change the way they live. And I'm a firm believer in that people are in their bad situations because of their way of thinking. If we can be able to change the way people process in their heads, then we will build a really good society around us. We we hope to become big, to impact uh, organizations like yourself that really look like they are genuine and they want to impact people. We want to, organizations need to get together and start connecting with each other and talking about the social justices that we need. And that will call for me to complement what you do and for you to complement what I do, because we want these young people to grow. Otherwise, the future does not look bright. As it is, it does not look bright. We need more young people to be vocal, to understand, to go beyond all of these voices that we are seeing in our streets that are swallowing the young people alive. And so I would strongly agree with charities like yourself and other charities taking uh, a big decision-making platform when it comes to how our resources are used within the county, within the constituencies, within the wards. We need to be involved, because we are actually the people that have volunteered ourselves to empower people. So if we are engaged, they would be surprised just how many solutions we'll bring into place, just how many people we can get to rescue. Now, what is happening with our young people is that they've lost hope. And for us to retain that hope, we need to teach the young people how to persevere. And perseverance is what will bring character, because most of the young people have lost character. And until character is restored, hope will never be restored. That is what those are the system we use with the young people. You got to take them through the process. We have to teach the young people what process means, because if we give them things too early, they will misuse them. They will use drugs. They will abuse all of these items that we know of. So we ought to be in a position where we are actually giving young people the quality mentorship they need and the tools that they need to dig out their gifting, to dig out their own given gift that is meant for the society. That way, they can leave whatever job they are when they're well rooted into their gift, because a job, and I need to repeat this very well, a job is me telling you what you're worth. Your gift allows you to say what you are worth. I decide what I get paid. Nobody else decides for me. When I give you a job, I'll tell you, with what you're offering me, this is what I'm going to pay you. This is what you're worth, right? And we are worth power than we can ever imagine. So I tell people, just weigh your options. Do you want to remain in a job for the rest of your lives, or do you want to deploy yourself after you have served your job faithfully every day and deploy yourself to dig out your gift, so that you can be in a position to leave that job opportunity and fill it with somebody else that needs it, that will do it better than you, other than taking all of these things and hoarding all of these things that the society out there needs. So as the Kajiado that we want, the one thing I would really, really tell you to advocate for, out of all the beautiful things that you're doing, when you go out there, look around and look at the water situation for people. Look around all the dry areas. Let me tell you, we cannot run out of the resources that we have, especially as Africa. The world has so many resources. It's a system that has been put on us up here to tell us that we do not have resources. We do have resources. And we want to see people really for that, and using their gifts to magnify and to profitalize in a good way, so that the societies around us can be able to be in a position whereby they are able to look at themselves and say, I am worth something. All humans want power. All humans want recognition. All humans want respect. And all of that will only be gotten in the gifting. I don't know if I have any questions. I see I'm 45 minutes into my talk. And I guess it might end very soon. Should I leave that for questions, Evelyn and David?
Wow, that was a very interesting talk. Gifting cannot be taught. It has to be discovered.
Has to be
That is
discovered.
something I think we ignore. Most of us, we're always looking for money. If you tell somebody, do for me something, utanilipa ngapi? So how do we change that mindset of being paid? And it's something you're being challenged to try something new. How do we change the mindset of the young people, because they don't want to do anything for free?
They have been coded with money, and money will only betray you at the end of the day. It will betray you. And actually, I can put it in another way. I am in talks with people that are really wealthy, and they are empty, saying, I have everything, but I'm empty. And I tell them, I know the problem. You've never tapped into your gifting. You're focused on this money that somebody else will spend when you're not here, because you're sick and you're depressed, and all you think about is all of this ownership of wealth that you have, and have never discovered your gifting. Evelyn, I invite young people that I see as gifted, and I tell them, hey, come, I want you to come and shadow me for a while, because you're idle as it is. And it will surprise you, people who turn down that offer. You see, when I invite a young person to come and shadow me, that means I'm taking care of what they eat, what they drink, where they sleep, all of those basics that they are worried about. I'm basically inviting them, come, because I want to unlock something that I have seen in you. And you know, it takes somebody who is in their gifting to discover a gifting somewhere. And they will turn it down because they've put a money value to themselves. And I'm like, whatever I have seen inside of you, if you let me unlock that, you will never look for money. Gifting does not look for money. Money looks for gifting. Gifting is a solution. What I do most of the time, I am called by people and they pay me for my time. I don't look for them. They're looking for me. That's what we need to teach. That is a syllabus that should be taught in schools. And to change the mindset of young people, and a good question that you have asked, we have to deal with their traumas. We have to unwire those traumas. Traumas just keep the young people out of productivity. Once we are able to unwind that trauma, they are open to understanding that I want to be taught about how to discover my gift. Now, remember, I'm very careful to say, I cannot tell you what your gift is. I can only take you through the journey of discovering it. The nasty business is all for you to get inside. And by the way, Evelyn, the gift that everybody possesses is in one safe place. And if you cannot find it there, it is nowhere in this world. It is inside of you. It's a nasty business to go inside of you. It's scary. It's really scary. I cried so much when I was being pushed into my area of gifting. That's what I want to do with the young people. Unwire them, because the traumas are just too intense, to make them feel comfortable in their own skin, and then give them the tools that they need to go and dig and get out their gift. And those ones who have, we've had very good, successful stories. Today they look at us and they're like, you know, we are grateful. We are grateful for what has happened to us. And so traumas are some of the things that we need to treat.
Okay. The other thing that you pointed out is to discover a gift in crisis. So, where we live, I live in Ongatarungai, and every day we pass by the market. All I
Mhm.
see is just liters and liters. I don't see any gift in there. How can you change our mindset to look at it as an opportunity, as a gift?
Right. You know very well that I've done that in Masai Mara myself. The, there's a lot of gold in trash. There's a lot of money in trash. It's the way of disposing that really, and I know what you're talking about because I have friends and so many of my tour guides, my comrades live in that area, and I see it. It's just there is a young person that is procrastinating over that crisis. There's a group of young people that are procrastinating over that crisis. They've not started. And I want to be the first to confess that when I first saw trash in Masai Mara, I procrastinated for a while until I got angry enough. So, what is happening with the people in your area? They're just not yet angry enough to be able to want to do something about it. You know, it needs now to solve such a problem, Evelyn, we need the local people. It will not be done by somebody else. If I came and I wanted to do something about the trash, I would come and look for the local people. I would find the passionate young people that want to do something about it. I would engage with them. That's the process I'm calling learning. I will learn from them, and then I will teach them, and then I will teach them, and before they know it, they have millions of dollars worth of a company that can take care of that. Now, the research I have done, as you can imagine, is I've gone out there and have seen other young what they're doing with trash. You'll be amazed about what people are doing. And this is what the government is looking for. You know, we can blame the government, but the government is all about our resources. Their source of funding are taxation and debt. They've borrowed so much money. So, um, so what needs to happen? We need to look at this trash and look at an opportunity. It's not just trash; it is an opportunity. And do you know what is lacking? It is a solution that is lacking. And do you know what happens? There is a local leader, member of parliament, county assembly, governor, all of these hierarchies that passes there and is embarrassed. They need somebody to reappear and say, there's something we can do about this. They're waiting for a solution. They haven't had anybody to offer it. Everybody wants clean streets. You'll be surprised the engagement you have with uh, the government that might be fruitful. Well, if they can't do it, that's why they need to get a CBO in place. And there's a lot of funding out there when you exist for a while for you to start your own will, which is what happened with me when I started my charity. There was no funding. And that is why we are self-funded, because I put in my effort and close people put in their efforts. That today, whoever comes in to put in funding for us, it increases the momentum of what we do, because we don't want to be over relying on people to come in and give in. We want to kill that nature of give to Africa because we are poor. We're not. We're just disempowered. That trash uh, uh, is all about not looking at what the government can do. It's looking about what can I do from a personal point? What can I do from a family point? I mean, my family recycles in our house. We put our plastics and we make it easy for the trash collectors. Um, what can we do from an estate point of view? What can we do from a town point of view? And it's a ripple effect that will start with one person getting really angry about it and wanting to do something about it. And let me tell you something, you have no idea the creativity that you have in Rongai. It is massive. It is massive. If only we can be able to switch the money before the gift. We need to turn it around, put the gift first. You don't even need to look for money, it looks for you. The government itself is ready to support, in my understanding. They just need to, as much as I know we have very corrupt leaders, there is some leaders there that are really good, that want to see people taking charge, because they also have trust issues. We have trusted these people with our treasury, and we want all of these things to happen, but we don't approach them with substance. We approach the government, and I've seen it doesn't work. We approach them, this is what we want, give us this. It all comes back to money. But once you go and you're like, this is what I'm doing, I need you to empower me to continue doing it, they will support it. They will support it. Actually, I want to think that the ex MCA for the area is an ex tour guide, is somebody that was in the tour guide fraternity. So these are people that have access. We just need to consolidate. And now that you've brought it to my attention, I have to bother somebody that I know about that and tell them, hey, can this one not be turned into a job opportunity for so many young people? Because there is money out there for that. It can be turned, it can be empowered. The government is looking for that solution. The first thing I would say is, let's give that trash value. It really comes down to that. You give it value, and then you solve the issue, and you get a huge employment for young people that you'll be surprised about. Evelyn, David.
Good. Evelyn, are you there?
Sorry, I was muted. How do you keep your motivation in the midst of wanton wastage by government entities that are supposed to be supporting the needy?
How the needy, the government as it is, and the support that they need to give to the needy. I'll first of all tell you one thing: they don't have the money to support the needy. When I've had a chance to engage with the guys that are a little bit high up, they mean well. What happens is that it does not trickle down. It's lost in the system that they've put in place, that it doesn't get to the guy that is down there. It is up to us to be vocal, not to the people that are in the middle, but to the people that are at the top. The leaders that I've been able to meet, like the vice president, the CS in tourism, the PS in tourism, the PS in environment, and others, they are the ones that have needed to know what I'm doing. So it really brings you back to what I'm telling you about activating your gifting. It will usher you to great people. So instead of looking into the government, how about if we can turn this around a little bit and face them with solutions? You see, when we go to these people too strong, they build walls around us. They're already stressed enough as it is. So when we go too strong, we lose them. They build walls around us. But if we go to them slowly with solutions and results of what we've done, I am hoping that one of you guys will be my guests in Masai Mara to see what it is that we are doing, and to even have a one-on-one engagement to apply some of the skills that we cannot discuss during this one show, then you will understand that they come looking for you. And that's what I want to see young people doing. Being initiative triggers in the problems in your area of society, in your domain. And these guys come looking for you, which is really important. Well, we can also go to their offices. I go to some offices, especially when I go back to Masai Mara because of language barrier, that I need the local guy to actually penetrate some of the offices for the sake of the people, or send a representative. Recently, I had to get somebody from the water department to come and look into the water because I could not translate what the local people were talking about in terms of the that they want us to supply water. So yes, we need to go into their offices, but we have to be careful about our voices. We don't want to impose. We want to be polite and offer a solution, and not make them feel like they're not doing their jobs. They'll just put up walls and you'll never hear from them. But when we are polite and we are solution oriented, Evelyn, you'll be surprised just how much they're paying attention and how much they need you, so to say.
Okay, thank you so much. Before I hand you over to David for more questions and vote of thanks, maybe you can just tell us a short, something short about the project you're doing in Masai Mara, the housing, just in brief.
The housing is all about it's a cleanup exercise. But when you collect trash, you don't take trash from the rest of the community to bring it to yourself to be the big dustbin, so to say. As I said, it has to have value. And I told you that I procrastinated during my guiding. I saw some lions playing with a plastic bottle, and that's when I got angry enough. So remember, I told you I was procrastinating, but I was not angry enough. So when I saw the lions playing with the bottle, I got really angry, and I decided I want to do something about it. So we started collecting, because we are next to one of the entrances into the Masai Mara in Ololai Mutia. We started collecting the bottles from all the drivers that are coming from a game drive. We started collecting from the town, and didn't know what to do with them until the idea came up. I knew how to make a wall using the bottles, but I didn't know how it could hold a house until I had this Italian technology. That is why traveling is really good. And then they also have now a plant in Kenya where they do a similar thing. So what we do is we have to use the resources that are there to solve the problems that are there. There's a lot of sand in Masai Mara. Literally everywhere you go, there's sand. The streams have a lot of sand. That's where we collect our sand for building. So we call the young, I called the young men to come and take all the bottles I had collected, fill them with sand, and I paid them per the bottle. And when we built the first cabin, that I was really putting my engineering skills into play. I decided I'm gonna try one cabin, just see how strong it is, and leave it for a while, shake it all I can, let all the seasons fall on it, and it was one of the strongest buildings we have around, stronger than an actual brick. But when the young people saw that, Evelyn, this is why I said they need to be empowered in a way where money is not the issue. Because what they did is they told me, wow, that's one of the most beautiful things we've ever seen. We want you to pay us more by the bottle. And it was frustrating. Yet we have thousands of bottles still out there. I'm trying to tell them, get the bottles, there are so many, and just fill them and come, I'll keep buying them. Until the local women came into play. The local women in their Maasai language, they came trying to talk to me. I got a translator, and within 2 weeks, they had cleaned all of the town, all of it. It was clean, crystal clear. And we've built 6 cabins using trash. One cabin sinks about 5,300 plastic bottles. I'm not sure if I had shared with you photos, but I probably think I had. And we are able to sandwich or hide about 1,000 glass bottles, and we are able to hide as many crushed cans as we possibly can. And the more we indulge in that, the more people see what we are doing, the more we are attracting other gifted people. Now we have people that have come and showed me what to do with the cans themselves to create a water solar heater without having to buy any. We just need to connect some pipes, use our cans in a way, there's a technology around it and a way to do it, and you can heat your own water for the cabins. We have had somebody else showing us what to do, not just with the plastic bottles, but also with other plastic materials like crisps, bags, and all of that are scattered everywhere, by pushing them into the bottle and using them to build outdoor benches and for the roofing part of it. So actually, after this 6th cabin that we are building, the other cabins will be totally made out of trash and heated with trash. That means, and also we're not only doing that, our gates are open. We are teaching. I've had people coming from all over Masai Mara just into our little compound to learn what we are doing. And I'm telling them, this is how you need to go about it. Come, I'll give you 1 day of training on how to do it, and go do it in another corner so that we can clean the ecosystem as it is. Now, it also gives us good profits because people want to live in an eco-friendly place. When people know that, well, I'm living in a cabin that has swallowed the trash that we see around. Now, remember, plastic is a menace. We use about 430 million plastic. Every minute there's purchase of 1 million plastic material thing, and less than 10% of that is recycled. So for us, it is a cleanup exercise that we've been able to turn into a business in the long run. The same people, we hire 70% of the locals, we train 70%, we call the young people. All of this money that we get to collect, we inject that into the project itself. We are able to increase the water grid so that we can reach even more people. We are continuing to build educational center. We are continuing to engage in medical issues and inviting other people to come and have a platform to speak to the young people. That is an expense. When I'm able to offer you a free Masai Mara trip, I'm still paying an X amount of money because I want your mind to come and talk to the young people. I like when outsiders come to talk to the local people. I like gathering people because, they're used to me now. Since for over 10 years I've been going there, so they are used to me. I like it when they hear from somebody else. So our eco destination that I'm really hoping that you will get to see, you guys need to come and see it, is a cleanup exercise turned into a business to continue making money, to inject back into the community, and even other projects that are outside. In a nutshell, that's what we're doing with our eco cabinets.
Oh, thank you so much. Over to you, David. Maybe you have a question and a vote of thanks.
Thank you very much, Evelyn, and much appreciation to our guest speaker, Isaac. When I saw this topic, I didn't know what to expect, but let me say you have really interested me in a lot of areas, and I've learned a lot, especially in the area of gifting, which really opens new horizons for people. And a number of the questions I would have wanted to ask, I think you've answered them. But I want to ask Isaac, where do you see yourself, which is just my one final question, where do you see yourself or your organization or what you are doing in the next 10 years? Where do you see yourself?
Right. Thank you for that question. Wow, 10 years. You've touched into a big span. I usually say when you've done something for 5 years, you become a pro at that. That means you've invested 5,000 hours in that. When you invest 7 years, you're in the year of realization, and when you invest 10 years, as you have asked, then you become a master. And my belief system tells me when you become a master, you have to delegate. You have to empower other people with that. I would want to see for the organization, and we kind of have started to do that because our charity deals with international volunteers, and I want to see the organization being taken over by younger people that just need to come. And I say younger people, and people tell me, "Oh, you're still young." Yes, I am still young, but I want to see younger people that are able to keep up with the needs. When I was working with volunteers in my mid-20s, I was able to really be proactive with them. So I'm hoping to mentor somebody that will finally be able to take it over from me, and I sign it off and tell him the only thing I want you to do is come for guidance from me, knowing that we have a board of trustees that if you misuse this, we come back and we look for somebody else. But literally, I want to see a young person coming to take over, a young person to come and drain my mind and drain my tongue and drain everything so that they can take over. As for the social enterprises, they are money makers. Masai Mara itself might end up being yet the biggest money maker because accommodation has a lot of money. We look at it as the sources of continuing to inject into the charity, and not just the charity, but two other charities, other like-minded charities, other serious charities that we will start signing up and having people to. We want to have a center where we can migrate young people to come for a period of time to learn, to be empowered, to be disconnected from their roots. For our social enterprises, they are more than businesses. We offer free trips to people that are heavily engaged in the communities all over the country so that they can get the break that they need. Where I see these businesses going, if we do not get young people that are able to take them as they are businesses to grow, and like any other businesses, give them up to a bigger investor. But hopefully, we get radical young people that are well rooted into their gifting to take the whole package and run with it and keep empowering people. In 10 years, right now, we see about 650 children go through school every day throughout the year. So I want to see us transform ourselves into thousands of children having access to education, but first of all, water. We want thousands of people not have an option of going to school, of going to trainings. But in the next 10 years, the next big thing in my mind is to have a big, and actually Kajiado was one of the areas I wanted to do this. It's good that you've asked that question. It had skipped my mind. I want to see a proper full swing rehabilitation center and a home for the aged. That for me is the next priority in the next 10 years. If I can be able to see not the rehab centers that we see. And the reason why I'm focusing on Kajiado and probably Masai Mara, it's because there's less bureaucracy in getting such things going. There's the serenity with the environment and the nature itself. We want huge acres of land, like 100 acres, and build like a proper center where people can come and get healed properly, and where people can age gracefully. We want to make sure that the young people. I have young people that need rehab, and the rehabs that we have right now are not properly equipped. They are very small. You're like caged. You're being asked to heal, yet you're in a very squeezed area. Young people that need to heal from addictions and depression and all of these ways of life need open space to run, to do sports, to be able to escape into nature and do other activities. So that in the next year, David, is what I want to see. I'll be looking for you to take me for a walk in your county on that end.
Wow, what an answer. You know, the last 3 days, and I think it was Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, which is today, I've actually been thinking of rehabilitation. I visited a rehab in Nyahururu the other day. That was on Sunday. I went to see my friend who runs it, and I learned a lot. I even interacted with the people there. But what took me aback was the fact that it is too small. It's actually like a prison.
Yep.
And when you look at all those people there, you find there's a big challenge. Then on Friday, we were doing mental health training in Matasia Health Center. And again, the issue of addiction, substance abuse, and the need for a rehab for our youth came strongly. So I think you have the right partner. You just come on board, come to Kajiado. I don't know of any rehab here, and we should be able to help the community, even working with the government. So otherwise, thank you very much, Isaac Mwangi. I think there's a lot that we can do together, and just listening to you, it even opens our minds and horizons. The areas of focus we talked about are basically the areas of need that we see. But some of those areas, when we listen to you, we now get a proper grip and direction on how to move. I want to thank our viewers for being there and for listening, and also for posting their questions. This is normally recorded, and it's normally on YouTube and Facebook for the longest time to come. Continue viewing and engaging the CBO so that we can improve. And for this topic tonight, I think, Isaac, you are talking to me. Sometimes I wonder whether what I'm doing is right. In fact, most people question, especially what we do, Evelyn and the committee that runs the CBO, because we use a lot of our personal resources, a lot of personal time, and sometimes people will ask you, what is the quid pro quo? What are you getting out of it at the end of the day? But for me, it has always been the joy of bringing a difference to the community and improving the community where I am. And talking to us tonight has really strengthened me, and in fact, talk to me in terms of knowing that I'm doing the right thing by having this CBO, creating a platform where we do three things. I said we focus on 8 areas, but through three major methods. One is dissemination of information, and secondly is about lobbying government. And you've told us to approach government politely and with solution. You've said be solution oriented, and I think that's what I also believe in. I don't believe in confrontation. I believe in being a solution oriented. And then thirdly is about partnership. If I get a CBO there, an NGO, an entity, anybody out there who is wired to helping the community, we partner with them. And I think now we have Isaac Mwangi. Thank you very much for gracing our CBO tonight. May God bless you, the work you're doing in Masai Mara, and see you soon in Kajiado. I want to thank Evelyn.
Thank you so much.
Yes. I want to thank Evelyn also for organizing this and making sure that we have a speaker every Wednesday from 8 to 10. And because of public demand, I want to return to Evelyn so that she can talk about the budget talk that we are going to have on Saturday. Otherwise, thank you very much, Isaac. And back to you, Evelyn.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Okay, maybe Isaac, you can give us your parting shot and how people can get in touch with you.
One of the leaders that you can easily follow, especially for the young leaders. You just go to any social media that you can think of, and you will find Iso Slim. I annoy my wife with that because I've refused to change the name. I still want to get in touch with young people. For anyone else that is email kind of a person, you can reach me through info@marafikicommunity.org, or you can reach me through iso@volunteersadventures.com. Very readily available to engage with anyone, and we always want to hear feedback, constructive criticism. We want to listen to people who are ready to give anything to help us improve, and to also be squeezed for information. Our information is for you, and I really do hope whoever is listening, you can tap into your gifting, and that is what the society needs today. Thank you so much for having me. Kajiado we want.
Thank you so much, Isaac. And I know we'll be talking quite often. There's a lot to catch up. This coming Saturday, we'll be having a talk about the financial bill. It has, there's so much confusion. What are we supposed to learn? Everybody has their own ideas. So we'll have Mr. Shikuku who will take us through on Saturday at 8 o'clock. We'll be sharing the flyers in the course of the week. Again, I want to say thank you, and please stay tuned. You can always watch this video or the previous videos on the Kajiado We Want YouTube. And for now, I say kwaheri, and may God bless you, and see you again.
Goodbye, and God bless you too.
Okay, bye.